one of the students, Anandi, she wanted to do her dissertation on this topic.
Oh,
so she said, Madam, please arrange this lecture and help me how to go about the research. So we have requested you with this topic, and I hope others will understand.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am, for arranging this. Thank you,
Over
sir.
to you, sir. Over to you, sir.
thank you. So, Jai Jinendra to everybody.
Jai Jinendra, sir.
Jai Jinendra, sir.
Once again. Bhaktamar is a great poem or whatever, stuti or stotra. And of course, you know, for so many years, centuries, it is very popular and almost every household name. So today I will try to deal with it slightly in a spiritual side, because that was the topic given to us, spiritual aspects of Bhaktamar. So I will start like this, from Bhakta to Bhagavan. All right. Because Bhaktamar word is made of Bhakta, no? Bhakta. And then Amar, and like that. So we'll come to that point. But basic point or theme I wanted to talk on is that this creation of Acharya Mantam actually is not a pure bhakti poem or something like that, but rather bhakti verses and like that. Rather, it also has the path to moksha. It has all spiritual sides. It's not mere bhakti. There cannot be anything like mere bhakti in Jain philosophy. It's my, I'm putting it that way, okay. And I will try to explain that thing. So, this Bhaktamar itself, this says, Nanya Shiva Shiva Padasya Pantha. And there is no other way out. You have to become Bhakta to become a Bhagavan. Okay? There is no other way out. Nanya Shiva Shiva Padasya. Moksha Marg, the path to moksha lies only in this. And so this is what I was trying to explain in next 1 hour that is available. Okay, the title has 3 words, 3 clear words: Bhakta, devotee, Amar, who becomes eternal. Okay, they use in terms of devas and also, but generally Amar means eternal. And then Stotra is hymn, song, poem, whichever way you want to translate it. And the word Stotra means adoration of God, depiction of Paramatma in a poetic manner, praise of attributes of God and pure soul. So pure soul means Paramparinamic Bhav, the way we talked earlier. And so the attributes of that type of God that leads to the path of moksha, that is what is discussed in these things. So these are not mere, like in other religions, no? They are mere poems, or some poem is taught to children and like that, which doesn't have spiritual connotations. This is not like that. It is really something very different. And whenever I talked on the subject, I really appreciate this and I understand this that way. Okay, now we go into a little bit of explanation. The bhakti, the word bhakti, has many other synonyms, okay? So you call it prathana, aradhana, pujan, adar, stuti, vandan, stavan, vinay, namaskar, samayik, seva, dhyan, darshan, and so on. So bhakti is not pure, just some one word like devotion or something like that, but it is synonymous with you use the word prathana, aradhana, pujan, and rest of the words, vandan, stavan, vinay. We may distinguish between these words slightly, hair-splitting type of things, but ultimately it will lead to the same meaning. And hence, the word Bhaktamar or the Bhakti has to be understood in a wider context like this, and not just a piece of devotion or things like that. It's not only a matter of recitation. There is a lot of understanding that is involved in it. Then in Niyamsar, of course, Bhakti, 7 types of Bhakti are explained. Param Bhakti, Shravak, Shraman Bhakti, Vyavhar Nirvan Bhakti, Nijatma Bhakti, same thing like Vyavhar Yoga Bhakti, Uttam Bhakti. So these bhaktis cannot be interpreted just like one pure reciting a poem and like that, and for something like meant for children and like that, or for initial learners, but it is really a spiritual means, because bhakti has to be interpreted in a wider sense of param bhakti. Param bhakti means bhakti of paramparana. In the same way, these are other ways of saying it. In Pravachan also, bhakti is defined as one without inauspiciousness, without Shuddhopayog, with Shuddhopayog. With Shuddhopayog means what? It's a total meditation, pure, with auspicious orientation, and helps swim the ocean of mundane world. Okay. Sansar Sagar ko par karne wala, swim the ocean of mundane world. And so, and even it is auspiciousness without attachment. So this kind of bhakti that is explained has to be, I mean, I gave this background just to say that it is really spiritual thing, and the word bhakti and bhaktamar has to be interpreted in that connotations. Now, in some other sources, bhaktis are described in 12 ways: Siddha Bhakti, Shruta Bhakti, Charitra Bhakti, Yoga Bhakti, Acharya Bhakti. No, Panchaguru Bhakti. These are words are clear. I mean, any Jain student will try to know. Shanti Bhakti, Samadhi Bhakti, Nirvan Bhakti, Nandishwar Bhakti, Chaitya Bhakti. Like that, it goes on and like that. So, the whole thing I'm trying to explain this a few slides in the beginning is that the word bhakti has to be interpreted in a wider context in terms of path to moksha and path to liberation. And so it is an integral part of Jain philosophy, and that's how it has to be interpreted and understood. If you take in a narrow sense of bhakti or some recital like that, while walking on the streets, or while driving a car, or while sitting, or for enjoyment, or some music we need, so we start Bhaktamar, or we start Bhaktamar and start cooking sideway. These kind of things, okay, one can do it, I have no objection to it, but this will not yield the results, because it is a very serious thing that the Mahatunga Acharya is talking about it. Okay, so with that background, I will try to summarize the whole thing in one slide, whole Bhaktamar. Then we'll come to very spiritual aspects, something like that. So from first to 8 slokas, or stanza, whatever you call it, they provide an introduction to the nature of bhakti and qualities of a bhakti. So I term them 1 to 8 as some sort of a right faith, Samyak Darshan. How that, if time permits, we'll go into detail, because I have given earlier on one slok, one lecture, 1 hour, one slok like that. It is gone for 48 days. Then object of bhakti. So 9 to 27, they focus on object of bhakti. Whose shelter bhakti? What is Bhagwan? What is devotion? What is the internal treasure of Bhagwan? So knowledge of that become the right knowledge. So these verses deal with the right knowledge. And then we look at from 28 to 37, in the middle part, of course, low to middle, whatever, narrate the extent of symbols, the treasure of Bhagwan. Okay. So in a way, they reflect to Vyavhar and Nishtaya, right conduct. Okay. So 28 to 47 reflects right conduct. And if you put it different way, then verses 38 to 47 deal with the impact of bhakti on bhakta. That is all types of external fear wither away with the kind of devotion or bhakti one has. So we can term it that way also. So what it becomes? Samyak darshan gyan charitrani moksha marga. In the same way, path to moksha in right faith, right knowledge, and right conduct. And if you use this, what will happen ultimately? So that is given at the end. The ultimate objective is summarized in 48 shlok and says that such a level of devotion results in attainment of Moksha Lakshmi. Wealth of moksha, thus a bhakta becomes a Bhagwan. So it starts with bhakti and then ultimately talks about Bhagwan. And so that means I term this as process of becoming Bhagwan, if you put it that way. If you don't want to use the word path, then what is that is basically needed when one wants to achieve moksha? So what kind of a bhakti, what kind of a devotion, what kind of understanding that is required in a bhakta, and that is what is explained here. Another point of view, I just, as we discussed earlier in Paramparana Bhava, there are three aspects of bhakti. One is bhakti, the person who is doing it, bhakti, the way he is doing it, and Bhagwan, because for whom he is doing, devotion for what? So devotion to Bhagwan, to become Bhagwan oneself in a real sense, and from Vyavhar angle, the Bhagwan himself, okay, Tirthankaras or Siddhas or things like that, Arant and Siddh, both. So they are Bhagwan, typically. So that means these three have a unity. It can't be one without the other. Without the knowledge of Bhagwan, one cannot be Bhakt. And without the having Bhakti, he can't be a Bhakt. Bhakti is that which joins the Bhakt and Bhagwan. So without the knowledge of Bhagwan, you cannot be doing Bhakti. And if you don't do the Bhakti, you are not called Bhakti. So only if you know this way, it is possible to really understand this great thing, which we all revere and respect and recite, and everybody tries to understand, and so many things have been written on it and like that. But if we take it spiritual sense, we have to understand, this is my way of putting it. I have not taken from anywhere, except some article wrote earlier for the conference we had in Bhaktamar by Madras University earlier, some few years ago. So from there also it is more or less same thing, summarized from there only. So that's how the whole Bhaktamar is to be looked upon and understood. And hence it's become a unity of Bhakti, Bhagwan and Bhakti. And three do not exist independently. I mean, in the Bhakti or Bhagwan, not in Bhakti or Bhakt do not exist independently. Only when you want to become Bhagwan or you have the knowledge of Bhagwan, it becomes very important and you follow the real path to moksha. Otherwise not. Otherwise it is a mere recital or a piece of music or whatever. You sing something with devotion and like that, but there is no devotion. If you don't have, if a person doesn't have this kind of understanding, it has no devotion. And if one thinks that through reading Bhaktamar or reciting Bhaktamar, our sins will go away. Yes, sins will go away. How? If you understand this way, it will lead to somewhat elimination of certain diseases and like that. Yes, possible, because you become quiet. Your akulta has gone. You feel happiness. So it is possible. All those things which people narrate, if they do Bhaktamar for that purpose, for worldly purpose, for disease elimination, for achieving some worldly things, for getting wealth, money sense, what word I should say? I can use the word mithyatva. Okay. That remains a activity of mithyatva rather than a religious or spiritual activities. So with that background, I think one should read this and understand that. And some examples I give later, but otherwise, let us start with this kind of basic understanding. Okay, next. We talk about 1 to 8, how it relates to really right faith. Okay. So the very first verse talks about bhakti as a shelter, alambana. So you take shelter, that of who? Jinn. You take shelter of Jinn. So Bhagavan. Bhagavan means our own nature of being Bhagavan, our eternal nature, our paramparanamic bhav nature. Why? And that he says that yes, it helps in uplift of downtrodden mundane beings. So that's how the first stanza talks about it. Alambanam bhavajale patitam jananam. So that's how you take the shelter of this. You have faith. Shelter means you have faith in this one. Alamban ka vishay. Alamban ka vishay is what? Drishti ka vishay. And drishti ka vishay is what? It is parinamic bhav, paramparinamic bhav, eternal nature of the soul. So if you take that, this is the enlightened bhakti. That's what I wrote there. This in the very first stanza itself, he talks about enlightened bhakti. Otherwise, it is a mundane type of bhakti. It has no role to play. So it talks about right faith. Okay. Then take the second one. 7 to 8, because I don't have time to explain each one, but just summarizing. 7 to 8 leads to the destruction of ignorance. Like the darkness go away with the sunshine. That's what it says. A drop of water on lotus looks like a pearl when the sun shines. Whatever. So the basic thing is that if we have this kind of bhakti, our ignorance go away, mithyatva goes away. So it talks about faith, right faith, samyak darshan. And the word samyak is used, samyak pranamya. Jina pada yuvam yugada. So word samyak is used, I'm not forcing it. It is very much there in the very first stanza itself, the very first verse. So it is talking about samyak darshan. We take the word from the right from the text, or you try to infer it. Either way, it deals with that kind of thing. So first to 8 deal with really other things also we can talk about, but I think time will not permit. I took only in a sense. Then secondly, object of bhakti. So that's called right knowledge. Eulogy of eternal treasure of Aryan. It talks about it. Say, for example, 9th stanza, it talks about 9th verse, talks about inspires people, and like that he says. So it talks about the Arant Paraman, Cheto Harishati, no, 9th. So Astam Samast Dosham. This faith leads to elimination of all kinds of things, and that thus becomes a source of inspiration. And in the 10th, of course, the word that I was trying to explain it. The devotee can become like Bhagavan, Tulya Bhavanti. No? It says very clearly that Tulya Bhavanti Bhavato Nanuti and Kimva. Bhutya Shitam Yaha Nath Samkarvati. So this is the basic philosophical difference of Jainism with others. Okay? That those who praise Bhagavan or those who are devotee, they will become Bhagavan, not slaves of Bhagavan. Bhagavan das nahi banenge. They will not become slaves of God, but they themselves become Bhagavan, Tulya Bhavanti, similar. They become similar like God. So this is the real transcendental bhakti, transcendental devotion that the Acharya is talking about it. Of course, you know, Mahatunga Acharya was one of the greatest, not only he was a monk, a Jain sadhu, but he was one of the greatest scholar of his time. And if you look at the history, he was contemporary of Kalidas, Kavi Kalidas, which is famous. And Kavi Kalidas has written so many books. Means so many, means few books are there which are very popular and like that. And it is said that Mantunga was asked by one of his disciples that why he should not write something which is a piece of literature, which becomes a landmark of things and like that. And that's how he has written. Of course, the other story that he was put under 48 walls and all those things, and then he recited one shloka or verse, and then the walls were broken, or talas, no? Locks, under so many locks it was then. That the contemporary view is that may not exist. Okay, who will build such a house or such a prison with 48 rounds of gates and 48, one or two gates, 3 gates are possible. Like in forts and like that we can find, but 48 is very difficult to find. So there is no real evidence, neither any ruins are available today. If something is there, some ruins may, because 48 walls means too big a thing. Anyway, whatever it is, so the purpose of writing is was different. It was more spiritual than any other thing. So that's how this 10th verse is excellent. And it says the philosophy of Tulya Bhavanti, become equal to God. So Bhakta should become Bhagavan, same concept. Then what it becomes Tulya is comparable. Okay. So like Bhagavan, if you want to become, then only you do the Bhakti. Otherwise, Bhakti has no role in Jain philosophy. If you don't want to become Bhagavan, what do you do with the Bhakti? You may get, say, heaven or some punyas you will earn. And thereby, okay, then punyas will be over one day. Then again from heaven, you fall back to the worldly mundane existence. So the role of bhakti in Jain philosophy is only to achieve salvation, only to moksha, tulya bhavanti, to become like that, to become Bhagavan and nothing else. And if there are temporary gains, Jain philosophy doesn't advocate that kind of a path because it doesn't become a path to moksha. Okay. In 15 to 16, same way, Arant is so deeply engrossed in the pure soul that the best of angels, goddesses from heaven cannot deviate or attract him. So much meditation. You just see the level of meditation is so high that nobody can attract. Chitram, the same thing. Chitram start with that. Nirdhum, both are like that. Even fierce winds that can move mountains do not affect him. See the level of spiritual involvement and the level of meditation. One gets so much engrossed that nothing can move from the meditation. So this is possible highest spiritual goal. Other day we were talking about a goal, no? So this is the goal that has been shown. And then a bhakta tries to achieve that kind of. It is not just a mere praise of God, but behind the praise is hidden that yes, I want to do like that. And my resolve is such that nobody can move me. Even fierce wind just do not move the mountains. In the same way, whatever karmas, winds are there, okay, I will not get influenced by that. That's what is explained there in 15 and 16. Then, of course, 23rd, it says very clearly that one who realizes the object of devotion, the object earlier defined, and then once he realizes an object, or devotion or meditation, same thing. There is no point in devotion unless you meditate on it. And without meditation, you can't achieve the moksha. So attains right faith and wins the process of birth and death. It's very clearly wins the process of birth and deaths. That's the most important thing to happen. Tvameva samyak gupalabhya jayanti mrityum. No. So both birth and deaths, one wins if one have this kind of devotion of Bhagavan. And is there any other path? So Acharya replies that no, Nanya Shiva Shiva Padasya Pantha. There is no other way out. This is the only way, and there is no other way out to achieve the kind of a goal that we have in our devotion. Now, if you look further, this 24 and 26, they are the heart of the spiritual part. These are like 47 properties in Samasar. And these are nothing but characteristics of a Paramparanamic Bhav, or the characteristics of soul. So you just say at least 12 we can identify in this one, and more maybe. So it is eternal. Right? First he says Tvam Vyam. No. So it is eternal. Then wealth of attributes, Vibhu. Vibhu Machinta Sankhya Madhyam. So Vibhu means wealth of attributes. Then Achintya. Achintya, imponderable. The soul is so divine, so magnanimous, so whatever words are not sufficient to describe it. It is just a wonder, chamatkar, that we cannot even think about it, what it is. It has to be realized only. Then asankyam madhyam, innumerable properties or whatever you say. Yeah, Asankhya Pradesh, no? It occupies innumerable spaces. Then it is Anadi. It is without a beginning. No, these are all words taken from that 24 and 26. Then engrossed in the soul, Brahman. Then Ishwar, all powerful. Brahmana Ishwaram Ananta Mananga Ketum. Yogishwaram, that also Ishwar word is used again. Infinite attributes, Ananta. Then victorious of senses, Ananga Ketu. That means he has won all the senses. And Yogishwaram, he is a leader of monks. Then Yoga Vidita, Yoga expert. And then infinite. And the last two things that it goes on from 13 to 24, 27 given here. Oneness, ek. Then amal, without karma. This line, the 24th, the last line, best is just like summarizes Samasar. Jnana swarupa mamalam pravadanti santa. All preachings, all santas, all preachers, all monks, all scholars, they preach that soul is nothing but Gyan Swarup. It is made is the embodiment of knowledge. Nothing else. And if you take this property as embodiment of knowledge, as soul, then it is possible to embark on the path of moksha. Unless one believes in that. Because soul is made up of what? Pure soul is made up of what? So then it is made up of knowledge. Once he realizes that, then only one becomes full of knowledge, that is Buddha. Then it is worshipped, Vibhudhar Chitta, it is worshipped by the wisest. Buddhi Bodhat, no, it becomes omniscient. It's benefactor, Shankar, forbearance. Like that it goes on. Path, shower, Bhagavan. Bhagavan word is used here. Just see. That's why I say Bhakta se Bhagavan. And then great men, Purushottam. Tam Shankaro Sibhunattara Shankaratva Dhata Siddhir Shivamarga Vidhe Vidhana Vyaktam Tvameva Bhagavan Purushottamosi. So it's the best of the human beings, great man. And of course, in the further it says that it is it removes the unhappiness of all the three lokas. Tubhyam Namas Tribhunartha Harayana. So like that, it's so powerful. And then it is purest in three. Shiti Talamala Bhushnayat. So it's the purest of that. And it is God of three words. And all this leads to Bhavodadi Shoshanaya. So it leads to the achievement of moksha. Little bit serious, but it is there, very much there. It is very much there. And it is nothing but something like if some reads some SR type of things. And that's why I divided into Samyak Darshan, Samyak Gyan, Samyak Charitra. It is very much a philosophical, spiritual, highest spiritual thing. In short, it has been explained here. So that's how it is very unique, and one has to really understand that way. Okay, go next. Then from 28 to 37, of course, it talks of Pratiharya and things like that. It's like it's the same Aranta, no? It is external treasure of Aranta is explained here. If you look it from that same Bhagwan, Bhakta to Bhagwan, so properties of Bhakta and properties of Bhagwan. So when Bhakta will become a Bhagwan and have a samosan like this in a state of Aranta, before it becomes Siddha, he will have these kind of things. Particularly, of course, talks about Tirthankaras. So when the eternal treasure of soul manifests in the modification of Arant, at the instance of Indra, heavenly beings create most wonderful scene at the stage where Arantas deliver his preachings, samosan. I generally term samosan as the conference of the universe. Okay, so we're all people, universe people, okay? People from all the universe. We have a global conference here on Earth. We say all the people from the globe have attended. But this is a universal conference where heavenly beings also attend the preachings and listen to what Tirthankaras have to say. So this Pratiharya is nothing but 8 wonders created by the Devas or heavenly beings. So that's why 8 wonders are created almost instantaneously by them, which may be considered as marvelous piece of divine or heavenly engineering. Without players, you reach in so many places and it's so vast. It is created in Antarmura, so it's fantastic. Who can create in Antarmura such a vast stage and like that? So this all possible because of Bhakti or Bhagwan, devotion to Bhagwan. The point is, what devotion can yield? What will be the result of devotion or Bhakti? The result of devotion will be achieving this kind of a state of affairs, state of Aranta, where even heavenly creatures will come and create Pratiharyas. Each Pratiharya is a wonder in itself. With 7 wonders and like that. So these are 8 wonders which we created by heavenly beings. So these 8 are considered as emblems of Arants and they are identified with these symbols. So that's how one can see a marvelous thing, what the Bhakti can yield. The ignorant, I don't know how word to use, I don't feel like using such words, but anyway, let me say whatever comes to my mind. The ignorant think that I need some money and like, he doesn't need the treasure of soul which was described earlier. He doesn't need he doesn't want these wonders to manifest. He doesn't want moksha, but he wants the disease to go away. What is? By reciting such souls.
Right, sir.
Getting satisfied with a little bit less than trying to, if disease goes away, it is good. I have nothing against it, okay? Because any bhakta, he earns punya, so as a result of that, if it is so, diseases will go away. No doubt about it. But when you can get Chintamani Ratna, any desire will be fulfilled because of that. You don't want that, and we want only small things, some money or some family happiness or marriage or some small thing like that. Anyway, if you have to need health, we go to doctors and get remedy. For Bhagwan, why should we ask? From Bhagwan, we ask what he can give. Tulya bhavanti. You can become like he, that's what you ask. What you can get, you ask from Bhagwan, and not the trivial things which do not even guarantee happiness in this life. You become healthy, so what? Disease will come again. Death will not come. So,
Yes, sir.
like that. Anyway, so the point is that we have to understand is that we should not reduce ourselves to such a low level. And if it incidentally helps, it's okay. But this is not the objective. Incidentally, it may help. If somebody does meditation or bhakti and like that, his BP will come down, stress will come down, all things may occur. Sugar level may come down. Some mental diseases are there that may go away. All those things benefit.
Right, sir.
Not inaudible, no?
Hmm.
Yes.
सुनील क्या हुआ?
मैडम वो सर का शायद फोन बंद हो गया।
नेटवर्क
इंटरनेट की वजह से।
डिस्कनेक्ट हो
No
गई।
problem. We'll wait.
Disconnect. Okay.
Ritu, these
Yes, ma'am.
PPTs will be available on any platform?
I don't know, sir. देंगे या नहीं?
You have to request sir to give you people.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Right.
And what the research methodology talk PPTs, ma'am?
You will have to ask him, Shobha madam.
Okay, okay. Ritu, will you ask?
प्रिया मैम बोलेंगे उनको।
पूछेंगे मैडम, बस आपके लिए पूछ लेंगे। रिस्क ले लेंगे।
Thank you so much.
Suril, Ritu,
Yes,
from
madam.
next week, no special lectures.
Why, madam?
Only 13 people are in the class. Only 13 people are in the class. For others, then why the people who are present should suffer? This is not done. This is not correct. When you call somebody from outside, you're
Right,
supposed
madam.
to
Right,
be
madam.
present, all of you. That's all. Next week onwards, no special lecture.
तो मैम आनंदी जी के तो मजे आ गए, हमें भी ऐसे ही चाहिए अपने टॉपिक पे।
You
हो गया,
asked
पूरा
Priya,
हो
ma'am.
गया।
Priya, ma'am,
Yeah.
wanted this. Ritu,
Yes,
इतने
ma'am. Even
अच्छे
I want one
PPT है
class.
मैम, इतनी अच्छी डिटेल सोचा भी नहीं था इतना तो।
हाँ, और एक
Hey,
अलग
you-
एंगल मिलता है।
तो क्या
ah,
एक काम
You
करते हैं
learned
ना,
this
आप
is-
सबके बदले we'll tell sir only to do all the dissertation.
हाँ
No,
अच्छा
ma'am,
है
एक-
ना।
Yeah, we can
मैम, but
request,
हम
madam. We
बच्चे
can
हमको
request.
चाहिए ना मैम,
We'll
थोड़ा
give the
तो
topics
गाइडेंस
to sir
चाहिए।
and we'll tell him only to do all the dissertations, PhD, MPhil. You all sit at home and do Ram Nam. Hariyan Nam सत्य है।
मैडम टाइप करेंगे।
भगवान को भजन करो।
टाइप करेंगे मैडम, टाइप।
मैम,
Typing
आपको
करेंगे।
मालूम है आजकल एक ऐप है चैट जीबीटी करके, वो सब करता है, असाइनमेंट्स, एग्जाम का को प्रिपरेशन, एवरीथिंग। इट्स कॉल्ड चैट जीबीटी।
Thank you, Shobha ma'am.
Shobha
Thank you,
ma'am.
Shobha ma'am.
Oh, then
You are
Shobha
good.
madam is going to
But
use that for her PhD.
I want to tell, don't use it because
it's okay, ma'am.
it will not give you knowledge. It will only get you through assignments and exams. That's all.
That is what they want right now.
Nahi. These children are all very good. They want knowledge actually.
They want to know things.
मैम भरोसा रखो मैम।
They are all
Anyhow, you tell me once again, chat.
GBPT.
GPT.
GPT. Okay.
G capital, P capital, T capital. But chat
What is
is
the full form?
C.
What is the full form?
It is a chat geo something, ma'am, technology. Some
Put it on the chat. What is, I mean, we are not
मैडम
getting
उसमें
what
सिर्फ
is
इतना ध्यान रखा गया कि जो एक अलग जो उपकरण है उससे आप कीजिएगा, क्योंकि आपका डेटा जो होता है ना वो
Suril, talk in English, Suril.
yes, we should secure our data also, because it is a very artificial intelligence software. It is comparable to Google, madam. Chat GPT.
ma'am, uska data bank is so immense. And if you just put something like a question or something, it sort of pulls out data from trillions of information banks, and it
Resources.
gives you that. And it also asks you the question. In fact, some of the authors have said that when we asked it a question to write, they've written books, these authors, and they have asked the GPT to write on one particular topic. It has written so beautifully that they could not make out whether it was written by somebody else, because it sort of pulls out their style and method of writing and research, and it gives. It's a super artificial intelligence,
Ma'am, it's
which has, but the teachers are all very upset, and they say that
it's
the
kind
student,
of stealing, no?
no, it will help researchers actually.
Okay.
Instead of
Okay.
you going in like, I mean, I feel it is a good thing, because whenever you want to find something, you're going to 100 places and you're hitting a block. Whereas if you just give it, it does the
That is
job
come.
very easily.
Okay.
Sorry, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Just enable screen
Yes,
share.
sir.
Just wanted to see.
Yes, sir. You are co-host, sir.
So, we're discussing about the 8 wonders in Ashtapratyaharya and how they're so wonderful. It is not just being done by something performed by devas and like that, but heavenly beings. But we have to understand in terms of the depth of what happens, that it goes associated with the manifestation of Arhanta Dasha, Arhanta conditions, manifestation of the omniscient state. So it is not that wonders by themselves are important. They are the result, or they have happened because of the omniscience. So it is omniscience that has to be Keval Gyan, that has to be. Today's, of course, Shreyansh Nath Bhagwan's Gyan Kalyanak Day today. So incidentally, I just remembered it, so that it has to be understood that way. Then only the real meaning will be very clear. Then, of course, in terms of right conduct, so this all about, we should have the knowledge of how the Arhant is like that, how the omniscient conditions are like that. Others we will not be able to recognize. So that becomes a part of right knowledge. Then from 37 to 47, that becomes the, I mean, we can categorize as something like having right conduct, that completely engrossed in pure soul, fearlessness, which is the important attribute of right conduct. Of course, if you read Samasar and like that, that talks about that with Samyak Darshan, or in any other scripture also, Samyak Darshan is accompanied by fearlessness, Nishank, Nikanksha, no? Like that. So Shanka, that fear has to go on. And that is further divided into 7 parts and like that. Here some people say 8 are given, 7 given, it doesn't matter. But fearlessness is very important for meditation, for getting involved in Paramparinamic Bhava. If one is fearful, it is not possible to have that level of meditation, which can lead to not even Samyak Darshan, but ultimately to Shukla Dhyana and Keval Gyan. So it has to be fearlessness. Fearlessness not for outside things, outspoken things, not that way, But when you're doing meditation, you become fearless that no matter what happens, this will not, meditation will not be disturbed. So in the same way, of course, 39 stanza and they talk about fear of this life, and then fear of next life, then agupti bhaya, fear of something unknown, fear of death, fear of sudden happening, then vedana bhaya, and then 46 talks about the shackles, shankla, and that's how all karmas go away, all shackles of karmas go away. Something like it describes the state of Siddha also in a way, if you want to say. Otherwise, they describe that Samyak Darshan starts with fearlessness. And then all the way through moksha, okay, all the way through a state of monk or gunastan, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, whatever, all these gunastans, until one gets Keval Gyan, one has to become fearless. Fearless in meditating on self, not allowing any disturbance to take place. Upsarga, even if upsarga comes, actually these 7 things that are described here, we don't have time to describe each one of them, but it is the extreme conditions that have been described there. That lion is there, an elephant is there, and they are already wounded, and then in extreme pain and extreme attack, they will be able to make it. Or davanal, complete burning of fire is there. All kinds of things are there. Extreme conditions have been described. Actually, one point because time is over, one point I wanted to explain is that during contemporary literature of Kalidas and Mantungacharya, there were a lot of comparisons people were doing. Then Mantungacharya wrote such a wonderful piece where he destroyed all the comparisons, all upmas, saying that it has nothing. Okay, Grahan nahi lagta, you don't have a eclipse. Sun may be great, but there is eclipse. Moon may be great, but is it an eclipse? In the same way, so many things have been described. I may be alpam shutam shutavata parihasadam. I may be not having knowledge, but still I have the courage. Like that, so many things are there about mrag and so many things. And then in one stanza, of course, say managapi manona vikar margam. Great sentence. That mind has to be pure, okay? Mind has to be clean. Otherwise, you cannot start doing meditation and then achieve the level of expectation or level of fearlessness which is required. So you take it either way. Then one famous thing is about Nishpanna Shali Vanashalini Jiviloke, that when the rain has already occurred, okay. When the crops are already grown, what is the use of rain? So like that. So all these things will go away. That means a great philosophical principle, okay. That when properties of soul has manifested, then what is the use of any other thing? Punyas, paps, and there's nothing. And same thing, so many examples are there. Manne varam hari harad ev. So it's good that I have understood the philosophy of Jainism. Otherwise, I would have been lost in this jungle. So many things I want to say, but it is like that. So I'm a little bit trying to constrain myself. Anyway, I will conclude by saying, ultimate objective, which I said earlier also, described in 48th, summarizes such a level of, that level of devotion is required. Okay? Little bit chota mota devotion has no value. Small devotion has no meaning. That level which results in attainment of wealth of moksha, and thus Bhakta becomes a Bhagavan. The theme that I was trying to project out of Bhaktamar is that way explained. Thus, Bhaktamar delineates the process of devotee, how he can become a Bhagavan. That way, 3 dispositions of bhakti, Bhakta and Bhagwan are inseparable. Inseparable. Bhakti, Bhagwan and Bhakta, they are inseparable. Because if there is no Bhagwan, there cannot be any devotion. And if there is no devotion, devotion to whom? And if there is no devotion, there is no Bhakt. So these concepts, Bhakti, Bhagwan and Bhakta, are separated for analysis purpose. This is a type of research one has to understand. These are analyzed for separation purposes. These are not three things. It is same Paramparinamic Bhav, that is a Bhagwan, and there is a Bhakti to that, and one who does that Bhakti is called Bhakta. So that's how we understand this. It will certainly achieve a very high level of understanding and achieve the moksha. So wish you all the best. Hum sabhi moksha ki prapti kare with that bhav. With that understanding, I think I will close it. Any comment, anything is okay.
Yes, sir. It is very important that what thought they have and what we are understanding. It is a very technical thing.
Right.
It needs very awareness, I think. So.
इंग्लिश नहीं आ रही तो हिंदी में बोल दो.
नहीं मैडम, मैं ऐसा सोच रहा हूँ कि उन लोगों ने जो भी सोच के लिखा होगा, तो हमें जानने के लिए कितने सारे बैरियर्स को एक के बाद जाना पड़ता है. एक बार सुनो, दूसरी बार सुनो, फिर जिसको विजडम है उसके साथ सुनो, तो वो बहुत साहस मांगता है, ऐसे मतलब.
Right.
Sir, I have a small question, sir.
Yeah.
You said Bhakt and Bhakti do not exist independently.
Yes.
Can you elaborate it a little bit more, sir, please?
No, the three do not exist independently. That's what I said.
Even Bhagwan don't.
No, because Bhagwan means there is an entity like Bhagwan. So we have nothing concerned with that, okay? But unless we want to become that, what is the use? Bhagwan exists, okay? Siddha Bhagwan is there. But what is the role, what is the role of Siddha Bhagwan? Siddha Bhagwan's role is that when we want to become Siddha, we take inspiration from him. So that means Tulya Bhavanti, we want to become like him. So if we want to become Bhagwan, that type of devotion, that type of bhakti is required. Okay? So bhakti can be there only when we understand Bhagwan. Okay? Otherwise, no bhakti. Otherwise, it is only slavery. Bhagwan Das. And so we have that state of mind, manona vikar margam. No? If we have that state of mind, then that person is called bhakta. So they are analytically separated, but the unity, one has to three to emerge. In Chedala, we also seen three to emerge in one. Dhyan, de, dhyata, no? Something like we said. Meditation, meditator, and like that. In the same way here also, the three has to be merged. Ultimately, for analysis, we separate. Okay? Because through separation only we can achieve that kind of a process.
Sir, so you can say like this, no, sir, that the paryay is to be devoted to the dravya. So then within the Atma, there is a dravya gun paryay. So the paryay looks at the dravya. So the paryay is the bhakta, the trikali dhruv dravya is the Bhagwan, and then the bhakti happens.
Okay.
Can we say like this?
Yeah, no, you are right, but I will put it this way to very simplify even further. That in that such a modification, in that paryay, which paryay looks at Bhagwan,
the difference disappears.
Paramparinamic Bhav. Bhagwan means Paramparinamic Bhav nature, which results in being a Bhagwan. Cause of Bhagwan is Paramparinamic Bhav, cause and effect, Karya Karan. So that paryay which focuses, in simple, that paryay which focuses on Paramparinamic Bhav, so that then it becomes, the paryay itself becomes Paramparinamic Bhav, the Bhagwan. The Paramparinamic Bhava gets reflected in the modification in the Paryaya.
So the difference disappears.
That's what, very true. That's why the differences disappear. In the sense that Bhakta thinks that I am Paramparinamic Bhava, and Bhakti is also that of Paramparinamic Bhava, and Bhagavan itself is Paramparinamic Bhava, and so the difference between the three disappears. It becomes one, and that is Paramparinamic Bhava. Because you cannot focus on Paryaya, modification, and you cannot focus also on the person.
Yes,
But,
sir. Thank you.
so it becomes one.
So
Yes,
in the
sir.
context of Dhyan, sir had told, Dhyata, Dhyan, Dhye
Right.
become
Yes,
one.
ma'am. Yes,
Exactly.
yes.
Right. Yes, sir.
Same over here.
Same logic here. And that's why in the beginning I said that Dhyan, you call it Dhyan, meditation or Samadhi or whatever. For Bhakti, it is same. Otherwise, Bhakti for what? If you have Bhakti for getting worldly things, then worldly things are governed by karmas. Bhagavan cannot give anything.
So, but then by definition, anything to do with worldly things cannot be bhakti, na? Bhakti is
Yes, yes, very true. Yes, I advocate that view based on our scriptures only. It is some good feeling, that's all. If it is not devoted to that state, then it is just some good feeling, that's all. Punya.
So you can have bhakti with Shubha Bhav, with Ashubh Bhav and Shuddha Bhav.
Yes, very true. So the bhakti with Ashubh Bhav is no bhakti, because we can see people like that. And bhakti with Shubh Bhav also good, but not good enough. So that's why the third situation is only 10.
So we can also say
Bhakti with pure soul or Paramparinamic Bhav is the feasible answer.
We can also say like this, no, sir. Bhagwan does not want you to be devoted to him.
Right. Yeah.
He is beyond Ragvesh. He does not want your devotion. It is something else that he is telling you.
Very true. Yes. Yes. That's why he's quiet.
It reminds me the Samesa Samantagata, sir. In Samesa
Yes,
Samantagata, it says Vivaharnaya, you have three, darshan, faith and contact, but in Nishchayanaya, all the three are same. No, there is no distinction between them. So it is similar to Bhakti, Bhakta and Bhagavan, right, sir?
Right, right. Very good.
Sir,
thank you, sir.
स्पिरिचुअलिटी बिहाइंड द भक्तामर स्तोत्र. तो स्पिरिचुअलिटी की हम बात करते हैं तो व्हाई देयर इज ओनली निश्चय टॉपिक. अगर मैं व्यवहार में भी बात करना चाहूँ तो अगर मैं भगवान के जैसे कि आता है ना स्वयंभू स्तोत्र में कि मैं आपको इसलिए नहीं पूजता हूँ कि अस्त प्रातिहार्य है, मैं आपको इसलिए पूजता हूँ क्योंकि आपके अंतर में ऐसे गुण हैं, अनंत गुणों के धाम हो आप. तो अगर मैं भगवान को इस दृष्टि से ही देख रही हूँ, उनके द्रव्य की दृष्टि से, उनके गुणों की दृष्टि से, उनकी पर्याय की दृष्टि से, और तब मैं उनको ही पूज रही हूँ, ना कि मुझे मेरे सेल्फ का अनुभूति नहीं है, लेकिन उनके ही गुणों का जब मैंने निश्चय से उनके गुण क्या है, निश्चय से भगवान क्या है, तो अगर मैं उनको ऐसा कह के पूज रही हूँ, अगर ये थॉट रख के भक्तामर जी को लिखा गया हो, तब भी तो वो स्पिरिचुअलिटी ही है. मुझे नहीं पता कि मेरी भक्ति और भगवान एक नहीं हुए. अभी भक्ति मैं कर रही हूँ, भगवान की कर रही हूँ, लेकिन मुझे ये पता है कि भगवान के किन गुणों की भक्ति करनी है.
Exactly.
तब भी वो स्पिरिचुअलिटी ही है, तब भी वो मतलब मैं एक्चुअली निश्चय वाली ही मतलब क्या उसको निश्चय भक्ति नहीं कहेंगे तब?
निश्चय भक्ति कह रही है. निश्चय भक्ति सच्ची भक्ति है ना. द रियल भक्ति इज ए निश्चय भक्ति. Vyavahar Bhakti is only described from outside angle.
Sir, at initial stage, Vyavahar Bhakti is necessary, no, sir?
There is no initial stage.
Okay.
Initial stage is to start with that, okay?
Yeah, to start with.
So suppose you want to go from, say, Chennai to Ponnurmalai. So destination is Ponnurmalai, you are not reached. But the starting point itself is to reach Ponnurmalai. sitting
Goal
at
setting.
goal
Goal setting.
Standing in Madras University, suppose all you start in a bus now. So standing at Madras University near the beach, we are thinking of only Punarmalai. If the destination,
So not started.
so that first step taken is Vyavhar, no?
Yeah.
The step taken to reach that place is Vyavhar, but that Vyavhar is only for it do not, let me say, independently does not exist. Vyavhar does not independently exist. It is to follow the goal, which is Nishchay.
Yes. Thank you, sir.
और इसमें ये भी देखा कि मानतुंग आचार्य ने शुरू में व्यवहार मतलब उनके एक्सटर्नल थिंग्स से भक्ति की है और फिर उनके इंटरनल गुणों को कि वो अव्ययी हैं, वो नित्य हैं, वो एक हैं, वो अनेक हैं, तो इस तरह से उनकी आत्मा के जो गुण होते हैं उससे भी भक्ति की है, तो उन्होंने दोनों को एक बैलेंस बना के भक्ति की है.
Can say so, but that sorry.
No,
you are right. Ritu. But why do you use the word balance?
Balance
बनाने की
actually
जरूरत है नहीं, कोई बैलेंस बनाने की जरूरत नहीं, वो तो होता है बस. If you use the word balance means it has a lot of other connotations. That's why I'm objecting to that word.
जैसे
कि कितना परसेंट मिक्स्ड है ना, दोनों बैलेंस्ड हैं, तो व्हाट इज द परसेंटेज?
Okay.
Balanced diet, suppose. Balanced diet means what?
Yeah.
Much of this, so much of that, so much of that. So in the same way, balanced means
balance. Here balance is 24 व्यवहार,
no.
24 छंद व्यवहार के 24 निश्चय के.
That's what I'm saying. So the object is always 100%. It manifests in paryas in a different manner, slowly and like that. That's okay. So that is also described. You can say like that. Outer manifestations is also described, and inner manifestation is also described. But don't use the word balance.
Yeah, समझ गई sir. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Wonderful PPTs, wonderful presentation.
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Please
sir.
share.
Wonderful.
As
share both
always, as
PPTs.
always.
Thank you.
Please share both
Thank you.
PPTs, sir.
Yes,
Sir,
sir. Can
can
we
this
share
PPT?
your
Share this
My
PPT to
article
us,
is there.
sir.
My article is there. It's there already.
Okay, sir. Article share कर दीजिए.
हाँ.
Yes.
देखो ऑलरेडी मद्रास यूनिवर्सिटी में है, मैं शेयर कर दूंगा, but I'm just saying. In the Bhaktamar conference, I presented this paper. Okay? This is the essence of that thing. There was no time to prepare a PPT there, so but.
सर वो साइंटिफिक रिसर्च मेथोडोलॉजी वो पीपीटी शेयर करेंगे सर?
नहीं, क्या पीपीटी में क्या शेयर करूं, मतलब समझ में नहीं आ रहा. Anyway, we'll discuss.
To trigger our memory, sir, to catch up with and.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
What I really meant was that you read more on experimental research from research books. That's what I meant.
Yes. That also we'll read, but yours will be the guideline, no, for us.
Okay, no problem.
Thank you.
Sir.
Can I ask 2-3 people to respond to the 2 lectures? What are your takeaways? Quickly, it's time, lot of, I mean, बहुत लेट हो गया सर को भी. और
बहुत ही अच्छा, मुझे भक्तामर जी में तो ये सबसे अच्छा लगा कि सम्यक दर्शन, सम्यक ज्ञान, सम्यक चारित्र एंड लास्टली मोक्ष के लिए भी एक डिवीजन बन सकता है, तो ये एक बहुत ही अलग उसको देखने का नजरिया था. और यही रिसर्च होती है कि एक रिसर्चर की नजरें कुछ और ढूंढ लेती हैं उसके अंदर, उसकी गहराई हम भी ढूंढ पाए, ऐसा हम चाहते हैं कि हमारे अंदर भी इस तरह की गहराई ढूंढने की ताकत आए. थैंक यू सर. और वो मतलब पहली क्लास का जो फ्रूट था वो आपकी अगली क्लास में दिखाई दिया कि वो सभी डिस्क्रिप्टिव से एक्सपेरिमेंटल आना, मतलब वो ठीक है भक्तामर जी है, बट उसमें से एक्सपेरिमेंट निकाला आपने कि कैसे मोक्ष मार्ग का बताया गया है उसके अंदर भी, तो बहुत अच्छा. थैंक यू सर.
Yeah, Sir, this Bhaktamar Stotra, so far I thought it is one mere stuti. Today I understand that it is similar to Samayasar and Nemasar,
Exactly.
like that. You categorized all those things, sir. And
Very
the spirituality behind this also great. Thank you, sir, given this knowledge. Thank you.
Anybody else who would like to respond? Meenu, can I request you to respond,
Those
please?
who are not spoken, no? Those who are not spoken. Varsha is there also, Varsha Gandhi.
Yes, Varsha Gandhi.
Like to see you, madam.
Varsha.
Old student.
Yes, I am here, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I am listening. Very interesting, and it's very interesting. बहुत अच्छा लगा, thought provoking. बहुत कुछ सोचने के लिए आपने मजबूर किया है. Thank you so much, sir.
Yes, sir. I would like to tell something, sir. Even I thought Bhaktamar is praising of Lord Adinath, but today I got a very, very different perspective. I thought I think that I have to understand the meaning again. I have to revisit the meaning again and connect it to from Nishchay. I never thought that Bhaktamar can be looked from Nishchay angle also. It's very beautiful, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
I think we all have grown up learning Bhaktamar, reciting Bhaktamar without knowing the
Yes, ma'am,
essence.
exactly. I'm so surprised today that Bhaktamar has to be looked from Nishchay. I always thought it is praising Lord. Okay, par. But today I'm like, it was an eye-opening session, sir. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Likewise, you read the other literature, it's full of this much of depth, waiting for us to explore.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Now we have got that motivation, ma'am, to look from that angle also.
Yeah,
all these
in
things we were
research
just
we said, no,
understanding,
motivation.
Yes, sir.
In research, we said no motivation. It gives a lot of motivation.
Yes, sir. Yeah, all this year it is always about praising. But now I got a very different perspective. So it's very nice. It's like now I have to relearn Bhaktamar again.
Yeah, sure.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
And when sir was in Chennai and we had this lecture in the department, ever since then I've been a fan of sir and his presentation on Bhaktamar Stotra.
Now we understand why.
So much to him,
Now we can understand why you were a fan, ma'am. It was really interesting session.
Yes.
Maybe if we had time, we would have gone each verse wise also.
Yeah, each verse we can do.
Yeah, it was nice.
Okay, thank you, 3 people who have responded. Thank you, Shobha, Meenu, Varsha, and the first year, few of the first years also joined. We'll thank sir, and sir promise to meet again on Monday, sir.
Okay.
And next Saturday, if these people demand anything and if they promise me full attendance, I'll arrange, sir. Otherwise, I don't know what I'll do with these people.
Okay.
We are here. Yes.
No, sir, ma'am. At least we are interested, ma'am. At least for us, you have to take the session. You have to give us the session.
Yes, madam. Yes.
Then you all talk to sir. You all tell sir. You all tell sir. Don't
Yes,
see
sir,
the
definitely,
attendance,
sir.
but you have to come.
Yeah,
Yes, sir, definitely.
Please,
Saturday, sir, special lectures from you. Because any topic you can choose, sir, it will be, a very different